If you're thinking about buying a powered wheelchair attachment like this one, you should probably have a look at DaVinci Mobility. Their range of trail riders is probably the biggest range around, and that's because they build these things custom to your requirements and specifications. I've been looking at buying one for quite a while now, and so DaVinci have lent me a few different ones to try out, including the one that you see here and another one that you'll see in a few minutes. So I thought I'd make this video basically to demonstrate really what these things are capable of, talk about what they are good at, what they're not so good at, and show you what DaVinci make, because as I say, they can pretty much do anything that you want them to do. For me, I'm looking for something that we can really use off-road, on the beach, things like that. So let's talk about, first of all, how this attaches to your chair. You'll see from this video clip that's been slowed down that an attachment had been put on one of my old wheelchairs. This is semi-permanent. It's been bolted to the underneath of my old chair. It can be removed, but usually you would keep it on there all the time, and this is how you actually go about attaching it to your chair. So you lift that crossbar up, hook it over the little bar, and then push away on the handlebars. That lifts up the front end of your chair to make sure your casters have got ground clearance, and then you push that little bar down to lock it, and that's it, you're away. What I should also mention is that I forgot to put the battery on for this demonstration, but that panel on the front is where the battery attaches. We'll come back to that in a minute. As you can see, it's a compact little unit, and the handlebars fold down for easier storage. So let's look at the controls. Now, I asked DaVinci to put me a thumb control on the left hand side of this, because my left hand's pretty crap, to be honest with you. I'm C6-7 tetraplegic, so my left hand's not very good, but my right hand is I've got some grip in it, so I've asked them to put me a twist throttle on there. There's a brake lever on each side of it, headlight in the middle, as you can see there, and then you've got the speed controller. It's got 5 gears. You can have this set in all manner of ways, really. This one, it's really quite torquey, low end power, you know. Whereas the top gear, 5th gear, is really fast. Quite, to be honest with you, pretty scary. I wouldn't have it flat out, you know. I'd be scared of falling off it. Then you've got the reverse selector there. You just press it once to put it into reverse. That is the lever to fold the handlebars down for a bit of more compact storage. And then finally, on the right hand side, you've got this key. Now, that's not the ignition. That is simply to lock the battery in place, because obviously when you're going over bumps, you don't want the battery falling off. So, let's start talking about performance. As you saw at the start of this video when I was going along a kind of tarmac path, these things will go, you know, on a normal surface, they'll go for miles. In fact, depending on which battery you go for, this will go for about 20 miles. But really I want it for off-road, and so I've been testing it on the beach. And as you can see, my local beach, they have a bit of a car park on there, and where the cars have driven, you know, it's really quite compact sound, and even with this thin wheel, it does cope quite well most of the time. And as you can see here, when I say most of the time, you will get stuck if you're not careful. I wouldn't advise using this on a beach on your own unless you can get off your wheelchair and push it. Having said that, I will show you some tricks later in this video for if you do get stuck, ways you can, techniques you can use to help yourself get up hills and things like that when the surface is a bit rough. I mean, as you can see from this video, it's considering how small and thin that wheel is at the front, it doesn't cope badly on the sound at all. But yeah, just a word of warning: be careful. These things are great for off-road, but it does come with a couple of warnings, really. So this orange one was the first one that I tried, and because it was struggled a little bit on the beach, I asked DaVinci to lend me a different model, and that's what you see here. This wheel is an inch smaller. The orange one was the one with the orange framed trike with the wheel was 16 inches by I think about 1.5 or 2 inch wheel. This one is a 15-inch wheel with a 6-inch wide monster of a front wheel, and as you can see, this does cope a little bit better, although this is a different day. The sand is probably a bit more compact, and you know, it's great fun. I've got to say, it's great fun on the beach. You know, it's fantastic for someone who, I mean, I broke my neck on the beach. 12-13 years ago. So to be able to get back on a beach and just mooch around like this with the dog, it's just a whole new world of fun that I've missed out on for a long time. So what I would say is, again, this I did get this wheel stuck, and I've just demonstrated there how you can go backwards to get it unstuck if you do start to struggle. But again, I'll come back to showing you ways you can get yourself unstuck if you do start to struggle on rough terrain, on loose terrain, things like that. And you can see from this video, if I'm whizzing around on sand, how well these things do cope on off-road surfaces. If you just want to use this to go down to the shops and things like that, which, you know, a lot of people do that, you know, absolutely fantastic. But if you do want to go off-road as well, it's a lot of fun, and you can see by this happy smiling face just about now. So this is some slow motion of me trying to get up a gravel hill. Now this isn't a very steep hill at all, but you can see how that tyre is just wheel spinning, and this is one of the techniques you can use. You can zigzag the front wheel from side to side, and it will help it to get a bit more traction in the gravel or rough terrain that you might be on. You may end up with a few stones flicked up at you there, but the alternative is to actually just turn round, as we're about to see, and go up the hill backwards, and that gets some pressure on the front wheel. I should also mention there is a modification that DaVinci can do to your chair whereby they add an extra axle. So this is the normal axle that you'd use on your wheelchair if you were using it on a normal day-to-day basis, but DaVinci can add a bracket just behind that with an extra axle so that you can move your wheels backwards, and what that does is it shifts your weight forwards closer towards the front wheel, which puts obviously more downwards pressure on the front wheel to get you a bit of extra traction when you're going up hills and things. And this is, we're drawing towards the end of the demo really. This is just me whizzing on around on a bit of tarmac, bumping up some little curbs, things like that, and dropping back off the other curbs, just to show you just how nimble it is really on concrete. You know, if you just want to use this for going to the shops and things like that, I'm sure DaVinci would be able to make you a basket or something like that if that's what you wanted on the front of it. And that's the beauty of using DaVinci. If you wanted, you know, a certain size wheel or an accelerator on one side, you know, a thumb accelerator on one side and a twist on the other, brake on the left hand side, brake on the right, whatever, you know, they will make the modifications for you to your specifications really, because that's what they do. They do everything in-house. They build all these things custom from scratch. So I'd say get in touch with them and see what they can do for you. This little green Trail Rider fits really neatly in the back of my car, as you can see. If I'm on my own, I can just put take the chair apart and put it on the passenger seat as normal. It still fits in there with the bracket on the underneath. And yeah, there you go. I hope you've enjoyed the video and the demonstration. And yeah, I'm sorry about my narration and lots of little pauses and gaps and things. I've never done a video like this before, so I just hope you enjoy it. And if you are thinking of buying this sort of thing, have a word with DaVinci. Cheers.